Forrest.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And as has been said, the Coalition supports the intentions behind this bill, I think, as would every member of the House, when we're dealing with some of the multitude of risks that we're seeing online. And there's no doubt that there will be serious and damaging consequences to people through AI-generated sexual material. And it almost knows no bounds in this space. There will be, and there is, a proliferation of artificial intelligence that creates just extraordinary possibilities, and it is in some ways so useful, but then comes with enormous risks, particularly when we're talking about young people. The risk we're dealing with here arises from that intersection of AI with its tremendous capability to generate material that actually appears to be real. But this will bring an extraordinary capacity to inflict real harm by distributing sexual material online. And having delivered hundreds of cyber safety presentations into young school children and teenagers as well, when I've listened to what they've already had to deal with their faces, without the AI piece, but just their faces being replaced on other bodies and used in a sexual way, and the harm that's caused them and the distress that's brought to them and their families, even without AI. So in this space, that sharing, the non-consensual sharing of what will be, what are deepfake and will be sexual content, is extraordinarily dangerous in my view. Dangerous to the individual and more dangerous more broadly. And we know that this bill will replace some of the existing laws, and these laws we certainly took very seriously when in government. And technology has constantly changed and will keep changing, and there was a real need with our Enhancing Online Safety Act, which dealt with the non-consensual sharing of intimate images bill in 2018. We really needed that very effective civil takedown capability. And one of the most common things for the parents who ring my office because they know of my work in this space, the most common thing is they want that material removed very, very quickly. That is the first thing. They don't want it shared, they don't want it to go viral, they are panicking, and often if it's a young child, that's their greatest worry, and the risk of that child being bullied as a result of that content being online or being out there when they don't know about it. So we've seen a lot of work previously in this space, but I am concerned in the current bill with the change or the removal of the definition, the current definition of consent. I mean, the law explicitly says currently consent means free and voluntary agreement, but the government has actually removed that definition. And there's just a few issues that, given the real focus on the need to keep people safe and what will happen in the AI-generated world, how will the courts actually adjudicate the consent rule if it's not clearly defined in the legislation, because that's what we're going to need, and that's what those who seek to use these laws will need, is very clear definitions, and the courts will need that as well. Deputy Speaker, you know, we've also announced on our side, the Coalition, a real plan to lift the minimum age for kids accessing social media from 13 to 16, and it is a top priority for us. And very much, it's very important that this is the case. And as members know, they've heard recently Meta giving evidence at hearings where there was a claim made that there's no damage being done to young people on their platforms or in this social media space. Well, let me tell you from my years of doing this, I have seen a significant deterioration in the mental and emotional health and well-being of young people because of what's happening online and because of what's happening on social media. So I don't swallow that for a minute. Every one of those social media platforms creates a harmful place for young people, even for adults as well, and it certainly could in this deepfake non-consensual sharing of sexual images. And ever since we've had the inception of online social media platform, which are the creators and executives in charge of these platforms decided, apparently, because of what we've seen since, that it was perfectly fine to expose our very young children to a free-for-all in what I see, and it really is, an online pedophile's paradise. That's what this is. That's what they've done. Where our children, who would have thought there'd be a platform that allowed our children to be groomed online by sexual predators and exposed to extreme and violent pornography, because that's what's happening. To be exposed randomly to billions of people of all ages on the internet. But that's what the platforms allow. And it is part of these platforms' business model and is what is available to very vulnerable young people.
And the debate is interrupted, in accordance with Standing